All right, so here is your first exposure to something that we call a proof. And proofs in geometry are a big deal. You'll be doing proofs a lot, and they're a weird way to look at math, but it's really showing that you can use a set of defined rules or defined truths to prove to somebody that something is true. Okay? Think of yourself as like a math lawyer and you're in a court of law, and the only thing you can use are postulates, axioms, definitions, and theorems that are widely accepted by everybody to be true. Okay? So say I have this line segment. Line A, B. Okay? Given that point M is the midpoint between points A and B. That's a given, all right? This is something that will always go into your proof, is your givens. Okay, it's asking me to prove that a line segment AM is congruent to line segment AB. Excuse me, MB. MB. So this is what this is saying is like, hey, M is halfway in between A and B, or it's the midpoint between A and B, right? Prove that this line segment is the same measure as that line segment. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to set up a proof table. Okay, and a proof table has two columns, one statement, and then the justification. Justification for that statement. Okay, so this shows you the progression of your proof. And this is the reason why you can say whatever was put in here. All right, so first thing I'm going to say is that I'm going to write down the given. I'm going to say that that's my starting point. Point M is midpoint between A and B. Okay, and what is my justification? Well, it is given. That is always going to be the first line in your statement, is rewriting the given. And your last line of the statement is going to be this, with a reason why. Okay, so we're going to logic our way from here to here. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that the measure of AM equals AB divided by 2. Okay, so if the measure between AM and if I take AB and divide it by 2, I get the measure of AM, and that is the definition of a midpoint. Okay, I can also say in that same line that the measure of MB also equals AB divided by 2 because of the definition of a midpoint. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to use what we call the transitive property. Okay, if this equals that, then that equals that. Okay, so I'm going to say that I'm going to put this all in one equality. If A divided by B, AB divided by 2 equals the measure of AM, which equals the measure of MB. Right? So I just took this equality, and since it's all equal stuff, I took this one, I put it here, I took this one, I put it here, I took this one, I put them here, and I'm going to say, hey, they're all equal to each other, and that's called the transitive property. I don't think I went to that yet. Okay, now since the measure of AM, well, since the measure of AM and the measure of MB are equal, I can say that AM and MB are congruent because of the definition of congruence. So the only really new thing that I threw into here was this transitive property. And we're going to go into more properties that allow you, that are really useful in proving stuff a little later, right? But I wanted to give you exposure to a proof using something that you have already been exposed to. So this is like a really simple proof, and hopefully you understand where this was coming from. Okay? We'll move on to angles next.